You had your spiritual awakening and you thought it would be rainbows and unicorns. Now you feel lost. You realize you're going to face your demons, and then you're losing some of your friends because they think you're going crazy. And you started to become distant with your family members because they don't understand what you're going through and what you're saying. If this sounds familiar, I hear you. I've undergone the same. Today, I'm going to share to you the purification process that happens after spiritual awakening should you decide to embody the spiritual journey. Just a backstory. I had my first spiritual awakening in 2010, wherein I had an epiphany and an out of body experience. I didn't even know it was out of body experience, but everything slowed down and I saw myself in the room, but I was in the room. Then a voice whispered to me, and she said, "This is not your life. Your purpose in life is to touch other people's lives and inspire them. You need to retire on or before 40." Such a vague statement, and I was just starting my career. But then it was the start of me searching for meaning and answers. And then I had the realization that life actually doesn't happen in the four corners of a workstation. Life is not all about achievements and success. It is meant to be lived and experienced. 10 years after that awakening, searching, developing some practices, healing journey, the pandemic happened. I had a deeper awakening or realization. I realized I was living in a victim mindset, blaming my environment and circumstances, only to realize nobody will come to save me. The only person who will save me is me. Also, that my time in corporate needs to come to an end. I'm here for a deeper purpose. I took my journey seriously. I did ayahuasca because I was called to do so, and I will not advise you to take ayahuasca. Only do it when you have the calling to do it. And the truth is, ayahuasca will not solve your problems. It will just show you your problems and how you're reacting to them and how you're denying it. And also, it will show you your problems and life in general. Fast forward to 2024, I had another awakening. This time, I activated my psychic abilities and started to see chakras, auras, and I was able to help people heal. Then I came to full circle. It took me 14 years to finally understand the deeper meaning of my epiphany when I was 28. And that's what this video is all about, to help those who woke up and how to navigate the awakening process because it can be dark and scary. And the goal is to learn from that darkness and to come out of it. Our soul came to this lifetime for its evolution, purpose, and correction through the human experience. Your soul chooses your family, the social environment you grew up with, country, culture, even your zodiac sign. I know it's hard to accept sometimes that the pain, struggle, and the trauma you underwent is something your soul agreed upon. Trust me, I also felt the same at some point in my life. But all of this will show you the corrections you need, the evolution you will undergo through, and it will actually reveal to you your gift and your purpose in this lifetime. When you experience a spiritual awakening, you wake up from this social programming and conditioning. And that's the reason why it becomes so painful and you feel lost in the void. You raise your awareness that the life that you've been living is actually not how your life should be. The truth is, we all have trauma. We all have programming and conditioning. And spiritual awakening is an evolution process, which requires inner work and healing. I call it the purification process. So what is purification process? It's examining your programming, social conditioning, inner child wounds, trauma, and emotional wounds, and healing from them so your soul can evolve. That's how you basically raise your frequency. The first step is developing awareness. How do you develop awareness? You need to learn to sit down with your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Be an observer like a third person. Our thoughts and emotions are our compass. They dictate how we behave and act. If not aware of your emotions and thoughts, they will drive your life. For example, you wake up angry without even acknowledging that you're angry. You will be angry the entire day. When your thoughts are always thinking of problems, your default thought patterns will be problems. And this becomes triggers and patterns, which leads us to number two of the purification process, identifying your triggers and patterns. Once you become aware of your thoughts and emotions, notice how they trigger your actions, words, and reactions. Oftentimes, this will reveal your patterns. Your triggers are creating your patterns. The people you attract, the situations you're into, the environment, the preference, and so on. We react based on our triggers, and these subconsciously create patterns in our lives, which leads us to number three, going deep to understand the root causes of these triggers and patterns. Understanding these triggers and patterns have root causes, and identifying the specific events or experiences that created these triggers and patterns. These are all coming from trauma and emotional wounds causing these thoughts, emotions, and triggers. Of course, you can seek a professional help to identify these trauma and emotional wounds. And then we go to number four, which is the healing process. Understanding your trauma and emotional wounds only serve its purpose when you release them and heal from them. Addressing the trauma and emotional wounds by acknowledging them, facing them without judgment, forgiving the people who hurt you, and forgiving yourself. I know it sounds easy, but I also know it's difficult. But we underestimate the power of forgiveness. But once you forgive, that's the first step of liberation. That's the first step of releasing the pain, struggle. How do you really know when you've healed from a specific trauma or experience or emotional wounds? You remember the experience or the event, but the emotional attached to that event are gone. That means you've released them and you've healed from them, which leads us to number five, that healing is a way of being. There is a point wherein you need to do the deep inner work and healing so you can deeply release. Then you will reach a point wherein you need to develop habits and practices to keep you grounded. Emotions will come, thoughts will come, situations will happen. The goal is to be able to handle them with ease, calmness, and peace. If we're not able to handle our thoughts, emotions, and reactions when situations happen, then we didn't really heal. We still have a lot of work to do. A healthy habit to develop is meditation. We shower every day to clean our body. It's only normal to also meditate every day to clear and clean the mind and emotions. I had sleeping problems almost all my life. My mind is so active. Later on, I realized I have ADHD. I do meditation every day because that's the only way for me to calm my mind. Eating healthy. You don't need to go vegan, vegetarian to be spiritual. You need to follow a diet that resonates with you and your body. And connecting to nature. Everything is energy. If your working environment, social circle, social environment is crowded, it's good to be away from this noise on a regular basis. Mountains, oceans, plants are our connection to Mother Earth. There are other practices and rituals you can develop, but the most important thing is to do what resonates with you. The deeper inner work and healing will come at some point, and then you will understand your soul's purpose, karmic lessons, and evolution. And one day, you'll realize a lot of the root causes of all of this is coming from ego and fear. Simple to say, but profound to embody. Let me know in the comments your spiritual awakening journey and where you are. Until next time.